Deep in the high-security labs of the world's superpowers, a new kind of fire is being lit. For years, we viewed artificial intelligence as a helpful assistant, something to organize our emails or suggest a movie. But that era of innocent innovation is over. Today, AI has become the ultimate measure of national survival, sparking a global race for computational supremacy that looks less like a tech boom and more like the Manhattan Project. We see nations banning the export of tiny pieces of silicon as if they were weapons-grade uranium, and militaries handing over life-and-death decisions to algorithms that think faster than any human general. Why has a tool meant for progress become the most dangerous instrument of war? Is the world being divided by a new silicon curtain? And in a race where the winner takes all, what happens to everyone else? In this video, we are going to clear all these confusions or find answer of all these questions in the video. So let's start. To understand the sheer scale of the AI arms race, we have to look past the chatbots and image generators we use on our phones. The real battle is happening in the shadows of data centers and semiconductor factories. In the 20th century, the world was divided by ideology and oil. In the 21st, it is being divided by compute. If a nation has more processing power, it can crack any encryption, simulate any battlefield, and manipulate public opinion with terrifying precision. This isn't just a tech trend. It is a fundamental shift in how global power is measured. The first major point of confusion for many people is the chip war. You might wonder why the United States is so obsessed with stopping a specific type of chip from reaching China. The answer is simple. You cannot have advanced AI without advanced hardware. These chips are the oil of the modern age. By cutting off the supply, one side is trying to freeze the other's intelligence in time. But this has sparked a massive counter-reaction. We're seeing countries pour hundreds of billions of dollars into sovereign AI, the idea that every nation must have its own independent AI infrastructure so it doesn't have to rely on a rival's cloud. This is effectively the end of the global internet and the beginning of a fractured digital world. But why is this called an arms race specifically? Because the military applications are no longer science fiction. We're seeing the rise of lethal autonomous weapon systems, or LAWs. These are drones and robots programmed to identify and engage targets on their own. The confusion here is moral and legal. If a machine makes a mistake and kills a civilian, who is responsible? The programmer, the general, the machine itself? Because there are no international treaties governing AI and warfare yet, every country feels forced to develop these weapons just to keep up. It's a classic prisoner's dilemma. If I don't build it, my enemy will, and I'll be defenseless. This brings us to the hidden engine of this race, the economy. AI isn't just for soldiers, it's for CEOs. A country that perfects AI first will see an explosion in productivity that could leave the rest of the world in the dust. This creates a winner-take-all dynamic. If one company or one country reaches artificial general intelligence first, they could theoretically control the global financial system overnight. This is why we see AI nationalism rising. Governments are no longer letting their best tech companies operate freely. They're treating them as national assets, almost like state-owned oil companies. The history of technology is often a history of geography, and the AI race is no different. Right now, the geography of AI is incredibly concentrated. A single island, Taiwan, produces over 90% of the world's most advanced chips. This makes the Taiwan Strait the most dangerous choke point on Earth. If that supply were cut off tomorrow, the AI revolution would hit a brick wall. This vulnerability is driving the United States, the European Union, and China to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to move chip manufacturing back to their own shores. We're witnessing the reshoring of the world's most complex supply chain, all because the stakes of losing access to compute are now considered an existential threat. As we move deeper into this decade, we are also seeing the emergence of AI swing states. These are countries like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore, which have the capital and the energy reserves to build massive data centers. They're playing both sides, buying American chips while hosting Chinese servers. They understand that in a world divided by a silicon curtain, being the neutral ground where data flows freely is a position of immense power. This adds another layer of confusion to the geopolitical map. Alliances are no longer just about who has a common enemy, but who has a common server. The internal politics of this race are just as messy as the international ones. Within the United States and Europe, there's a fierce debate between accelerators and safetyists. Accelerators argue that any delay in development is a gift to adversaries, while safetyists warn that moving too fast could lead to an AI that is impossible to control. This internal friction creates a massive amount of confusion in policy. One day, a government is passing strict safety regulations, and the next day, it's cutting multi-billion-dollar checks to tech firms to speed up their research. This inconsistency makes it nearly impossible for the rest of the world to know what the rules of the road actually are. Perhaps the most disruptive element of the AI arms race is the impact of the global South. For decades, developing nations have tried to catch up to the West through manufacturing and cheap labor. AI threatens to wipe that advantage out. If a robot in a developed nation can manufacture clothes or electronics cheaper than a human in a developing one, the ladder of economic development is kicked away. This could lead to a new form of digital colonialism, where a few AI-rich nations control the means of production for the entire planet, leaving everyone else as mere consumers of their technology. In the final analysis, the rise of artificial intelligence is forcing us to confront a world where human decision-making is no longer the fastest or most efficient way to run a planet. The confusion we feel today, the sense that everything is moving too fast and that the old rules don't work, is the sound of a new era being born. We are racing to build a godlike intelligence before we have even figured out how to live with each other as humans. The AI arms race is a race without a finish line, where the only way to win is to not lose control of the technology itself. The silicon curtain is falling, the data centers are humming, and the algorithms are learning. Whether this new fire will light the way to a better future or burn down the structures we've built depends on whether we can find a way to cooperate in a world that is hardwired for competition. The arms race has begun, and the world will never be the same again.